The following episode contains views that may cause strong opinions to flare. A word of warning. The ENigmas meant what they said. Rated E for explicit. Now, I gotta ask y'all a quick question before I let y'all go. What do y'all think about this Dave Chappelle thing?
Oh, hey, look, I'm gonna tell you right now. Two observations. One, Dave Chappelle been saying nigga his whole life. Dave Chappelle had a whole skit where he's a black white supremacist.
Yeah.
He say boogie woogie nigga and all that shit.
Yeah,
hard he are.
But
the minute he say a joke about a trans person, oh, he can't say that shit. Well, what the damn hell? So now this the hill we want to die on. So that's observation. Second observation.
Same thing I said. I said the same thing. I'm like Dave Chappelle has made fun of everybody.
Everybody, even himself.
Yeah, everybody.
You know, so nobody's exempt. But I'm wild. The reason I asked, man, I just got an update on my phone. They have video of the people protesting Netflix outside of the workers going against Netflix. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, where's that same energy? For other issues?
List of demands.
Yeah, I'm confused. I'm like, okay, so you understand that Chappelle's already been paid, right? Do you understand? That was his last Netflix special already anyway. So even if you pull it, he'll lose some money, but you still got Chappelle show that's being broadcast on multiple things that he now is getting paid for. So what are you gonna do? Go to Viacom next? Oh, Viacom and WB Warner Media. We got a bone to pick with you too. So I know this dude's making his money.
They still playing reruns of the Cosby Show right now. You think they're gonna take off the Chappelle show?
And don't forget now, Different World was produced under Bill Cosby, and that's still running too. And they still making money off that joint.
Thank you.
So they'll say people need to pay attention to the monsters that they refuse to see. Because at the end of the game, there's somebody pulling strings. Dave Chappelle was trying to say that in the closer. He told folks, he said, how in the world is it that I can have a whole conversation? I can say everything that I said and all of my stuff, but the moment I say something, this white dude that now identifies as something else, somebody else, as a female or whatever, right? Why in the world is it that the conversation has changed? Why is it that we can't even have a civil discourse? Why can't you be joked on? Why are these things he was just he was like at the end of his special, Dave Chappelle said, I will not do another joke about trans people again until we can all sit at the table and come to terms and agreement on how we can actually do this stuff together. You know what I'm saying? So
this is my take, because I'm trying to say how I want to say this. They have America is so capitalistic, right? It's so terrible. Like how you were saying, it's kind of boring right now. Like if you look at it, ain't really a lot going on, or nothing at least that catches most people's attention. So now they have actually created a trend to be that way.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm not saying that gays or whatever, don't exist. They do. They always have.
Yeah.
But it's never been a trend. It's just like how you can, you can have, hip hop was a trend and, comic books is trending and sex can trend. And so the society can come in and and trend anything. So it's not saying that just because you're trending is bad. It's like, okay, we can make a lot of money off these people because they're untapped.
Yes.
We done milk the blacks. You know what I'm saying? We done milk them.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? Being hood and ghetto and gang banging don't sell no more.
That's over.
It's over, right? You know, that boat sailed.
Yeah.
This new gay thing, this trans stuff, like, man, there's a lot of money in that.
Well, you know, they think there is, and that's I think one of the issues also with American media, because they're chasing that. It's a unicorn. They're chasing it, but it's not providing them with what they want. So look at this right here real quick. Okay?
See, you know, another thing about these people.
I don't know why all the violence. I don't know why all the.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Oh gosh, yeah. There's over. I got something to say.
Yeah. So that was going on live action not even an hour ago.
See, these people, what they fail to realize, going back to the capitalistic society.
You see this, John, right? Like, while you're talking, I want you to see this right here real quick. Okay? See that?
These people don't realize that they're in the matrix. They don't realize.
Yeah.
They don't realize that Agent Smith is weaponizing them against something that they should even care about. They are literally in the matrix. They are that community, and it's another issue with African Americans as well. The corporate machine has found a way to weaponize us.
Right.
They found a way to deploy us to get us riled up, right? And once they get us riled up, like, okay, going back to what happened last year to George Floyd and stuff like that, they got us riled up. They got us riled up as shit. You know what they started doing? Well, hey, we're about to get content that's going to explore Black voices. We're going to have content that's like, we're going to have like one night that's dedicated just for like Black cinema and stuff like that. Like, they weaponized our anger and they profited off of us, man. Because when we watching that stuff, what you think they're going to do? Well, we got a lot of Black people watching Friday night around by 8:00. You know, maybe if you got a product that you want to market to Black people to increase your sales, how about you give us some advertisement dollars?
You know, like didn't Afghanistan just have a coup? Don't you find it very strange that just kind of transition out as not being big time news? Like, that is big news.
And it's not just us, it's our Caucasian brothers as well, because they have been as far as being weaponized, they have been the most attacked by misinformation. They have been the most weaponized group of people in America, because they got them believing that white people are in danger of being extinct. They've done an excellent job.
Yeah.
So what happened was
all of it. Think about it. Even the whole family structure. Like, if you look at men and women, like, you know, if you're a woman, you have to hate all men. If you're a man, you have to hate women.
Yep.
Thank you.
You know, and if you're confused on why you need to be that way, then you can buy my ticket for $30 and come out to my seminar.
I'm gonna break it down for you.
You know what I'm saying? Right. Well, I can break it down.
I'll tell you. Well,
I'll break it down for you.
But while you're waiting though, I got t-shirts too. I got t-shirts and I got armbands. Yeah, you know, once you buy that and you come back,
aren't you tired of Black folks moving into your neighborhood? Tell you about it.
Yeah, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, and it's crazy. Like, so I'm looking at all this stuff right here, you know, happened with Chappelle. And I'm like, I'm convinced none of these people watch the doggone special. Now, I don't even have Netflix, and I figured out how to watch the doggone special. Don't ask me how, but I did. But
it's okay.
But you know, but I was able to watch the whole special. And I'm like, there was nothing he said in here that was so extreme that it were her. I think the quote unquote most extreme thing he thought about was like the turf situation, like the trans exclusionary radical feminist movement that J.K. Rowling is like, look, you know, like we have to protect women in this particular regard. And I'm like, I get where she's coming from. The problem is now is that folks are so doggone sensitive that they can't even come to the table to talk about nothing.
Yeah.
At all, you know, so because of that situation, it's not that I'm trying to cancel out your existence. I'm just asking for conversation. You know what I'm saying? I'm asking for you to help me. And Chappelle said something about his friend Daphne, you know, who's a transgender female. And he talked about how, like, while he was doing stand up in San Francisco, he was like asking her a question and she got offended. And but what she said in public was very profound. She said, "I'm trying to figure this stuff out." versus Dave Chappelle being a bigot from because he didn't understand the words that Daphne told him was, I'm trying to figure this stuff out too. So rather than looking at it from a perspective of it's like you versus such and such, or this person versus such and such, we're humans trying to figure out this experience called life, right? And unfortunately, everybody can't think the same. Everybody can't do things the same way. So why would you don't demonize the way that this person is dealing with the issues that they got going inside, because you don't know what they look like. I mean, if you can help, I think kindness is probably a better way to help. You can disagree with a person without tearing them down. But unfortunately, a lot of people now, they can't even take disagreements and jokes. So have you noticed that there hasn't been many comedic movies that have dropped in the past 5 years? Y'all notice that?
You can't. How can I put it? You can't.
Yeah, you can't drop it. You can't make jokes about anything. So when we got into the point where the court jester is killed because he's breathing, the king loses perspective. Yeah. Because you need the jester to point out obvious blind spots that you normally didn't consider. That's the whole point of the court jester. You die. Well, I mean, it's like, yes, you laugh and you die.
It's like you push your false narrative. Like you have to, like, if you look at being a feminist, right? And there's a difference between fighting for, like, first of all, this is me, like, you can't be equal when you're not the same. Yeah, like it's unfair for me to say, well, I treat Chance and Felix. Chance is my dog, and then Felix is my cat. So it's unfair for me to say, well, I treat my dog and cat equally. Mm. Where they're two different. The dog and cat is completely different. Like, because you got to think about, like, Felix the cat don't need to go outside. He had a litter box. So if I don't take Chance out, then so I take Chance out because the dog, he has to walk, he has to use the bathroom, but the cat don't need to per se go out for that reason. So you can't be equal. So that's the problem women have with men. It's like, you can be equal in the sense of how you treated, all day. You know what I'm saying? You can get equality. Mm-hmm. But if you're a true feminist, you know what I'm saying, why wouldn't you go fight for a woman and say, is it really right for a woman to have to suffer through a period? And she has to go to work, and she don't get any extra sick days either.
No, she don't.
You see what I'm saying? So when you say you're equal to a man, then you negate that conversation.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So you would have to clarify that there's a difference between a man and a woman, so you can come in and say, well, hey, we can't have the same bylaws because we're actually different.
Yeah, equal don't actually mean equality, right? So that's
right. Right.
And then when it comes to, like, the feminist movement, I always talk to people. People ask me, I've had this conversation a lot. People ask me, like, you a feminist or whatever, because I've had conversations with, like, coworkers before. The sad part about it all is, a lot of us that work with women have been sexually assaulted, right? And if they feel comfortable enough to tell you, that number is staggering. And that's a sad thing. And I hate shit like that. And I really get riled up, and I'm all about, like, protecting our women, you know what I mean? Because that's what literally that's what you got to do. You know what I mean? As a man, or as, like, providers, or even, hunters, you got to hunt for the clan.
Well, here's the thing though, man, like, that particular philosophy is being spat upon, because now if a dude says that, then he's taking away the ability or the individuality of the woman, because she wasn't made to be protected anymore. So like, and it's
stupid, because the quarterback not needed protected,
bruh. I mean, so we on the same page, but that is what has been sold as a thing for a lot of women in this generation.
But see, that's because the feminist movement got about even in its conception. Even if you go back and look at it. Was like in the early 1900s, like the feminist movement, or they right to votes and stuff like that. It's been immediately hijacked by psychopaths.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, even something like the black movements that I hate to say it like this,
hijacked by psychopaths.
Hijacked.
Let's not even. I forget what's the name of that chick, man, with Black Lives Matter, that bought mansions. You know what I'm saying? Bought mansions beside the people that she was protesting against. Patrice Colors, you know what I'm saying? Got multiple estates set up in multiple places, You know what I'm saying? And then of course you see when you type that in, guess who got to come in and try and protect her. You know what I'm saying? It's like, no, this joint actually happened. She got a states, bro. She got a states with her name on it. And but she out here leading the struggle, and I ain't seen a goddamn thing change since Black Lives Matter came out.
Hijacked by psychopaths, man.
Hijacked by psychopaths, bro.
Like, so yeah. feminism, right? Their biggest issue with feminism is that there's always a rally against the white the white patriarchy, right? But they don't understand that the white matriarchy is just as worse.
Yeah,
it's hidden in other ways that you may not see, but it's literally just as worse. And these are the people who are the head of the movement, right? Okay, they talk about all this other shit, right? Because that shit cool in them. Saying bye Felicia is cool in them. Flicking their hair back and forth for school in them, but they don't give a fuck, and they damn sure don't want black people to be up there. They want pieces of the black woman. They want pieces of the black woman's culture, but they don't want the black woman. And that's where you get all this crazy shit, man. This way, I don't need a man to lift this shit for me. Well, fine, bitch, get a dolly. I don't know what to tell you. You know what I mean? But damn, let me help you. You know what I mean? I believe I can do it. You know, if you let me help you, I feel like we both have strengths that, that we can work with. But it's
like gaming. Like I said, it's fun. Because when you get down to the root of it, it's like algebra. Like you got dependent and you got independent. So a lot of this stuff is interchangeable. You can change it out. Like you can take gaming out and put anime in, take anime out, put comic book. But the science of what the problem is still going to be, the same thing across the board. So that's why it makes sense. Like you say, hey, let's take this gaming out. Let's talk about, the feminine situation and how things are getting hijacked. So, and then, so you go to gaming and then years ago, you have Bobby, Trevor, and Matt and other people talking about their gaming experiences, and life was great. Gaming is fine. And then all of a sudden it gets really big, and then it starts to trend. And then you see Microsoft or Sony or Nintendo, they'll say, well, let's buy up all the Bobbies, Trevors, and Matts, or push them out, the ones that don't want to cooperate, and let's create IGN, and let's create these different platforms, and we'll control it. Because it was one of my arguments about with the Game Pass. Like it's not about me having it's not about it being Game Pass. It's about what I watch. It's like Paris will come up there and say what's the deal and all this other stuff. But I'm like, well, yeah, Paris, you hosting the show though. Like you can't. Like he says I'm not. I'm being honest. I'm like, well, you can't be honest. Like you already compromised, because if they're cutting you a check and you're on the show, you can't be 100% honest. Like you can't say what you need to say. You're just saying what somebody told you to say. So when you flip flop back to the feminist movement, it's the same way. It's like you probably had women with the right intentions, but then it's like, hey, we need to hijack that, and then it gets hijacked. And then it goes completely somewhere else. The same way how black people always have a great movement, you'll get a Malcolm X or Martin Luther King,
and somebody come in and hijack it every single time. Yeah, like so that's why I pulled this thing up for y'all to see, and I'm gonna leave y'all alone, so y'all need to go to sleep. But so two things I just want to point out real quick with Black Lives Matter that really, really bothered me as a black man. We affirm the lives of black, queer, trans folk, disabled folk, undocumented folk, folks with records, women, and all black lives on the gender spectrum. Where's the man at? They worship this idea that your oppression can be measured on a scale. And this has been my beef with black entertainment and black thought when it comes to stuff. We cannot get over us being oppressed people. I'm not saying that we should forget it. I ain't saying that. That's stupid. But what I'm saying is our creativity is only bound to our oppression, and that's a goddamn shame.
The dude who made Cyberpunk, the story Cyberpunk 2077 was black. Our mind, they limit us in a box, and when it comes to us, when we step outside of that box, it's astonishing to them, and they can't stop enjoying it. You know what I mean? Because they don't expect you to come out of that box, right?
Yep.
And then the only people that are allowed to expand outside of that box, even in the smallest and even in the most minute way, is the African-American woman, right? So go back and look at what happened to, let's go back and look at Black Panther, right? look how quickly they decided, let's go with Shuri. Analytically, Shuri is what they want, right?
Yeah.
It's black, it's a woman, it's all this crazy stuff.
She's the smartest person ever for some odd and strange reason when she was not that in the comic books until after the movie. Because Shuri was not smarter than T'Challa in the comic book.
She's allowed to come out of that box, and if there was T'Challa, even though T'Challa has a lot more stories to tell, if there was T'Challa, they would find a way to box him in. I promise you, after the fourth, if they did 3 Black Panther movies, he would have had a baby mama in one of them. He would.
Oh yeah. No,
he would have. You know what I mean? He would have had it'll be something crazy. It'll be something stupid ass black, analytic shit or whatever.
It's crazy though. I told folk, and I mean this. I love Chadwick, man. I think Chad was was one of the best actors that we've ever had. But my issue was Ryan Coogler with Black Panther, because he needed it so bad for him to be a part of that movie. To my him. Yeah. So rather than telling us an engaging story about T'Challa in Wakanda, he had to bring us to Compton. He had to bring us to Oakland.
Had to connect it, man.
He had to bring us all the way back to something that we already are familiar with, and then pit black people against each other in the same goddamn movie.
Yeah, he had to connect.
So I was like, I get that, bro, but there's so much going on in Wakanda that you could have written a cohesive story about Wakanda alone.
Never had to come to America.
Never had to come to America until later on, or something like that, right? No, we got to go to America immediately, and we got to discredit all Africans because Africans don't get our struggle. It's the oppression Olympics, man. It's like everything that we do revolves around us being oppressed when it comes to our media, and I'm tired of it. I'm like, I just want black folk to be excellent, just in what they are, whether they're suffering in oppression or not. I've seen
it's like well, if you look at it and you look at it, it's trauma. It's almost like black people in America is very interesting if you like to study that type of stuff, because if you go with the traditional story, you come from Africa, right? Yeah. So you one of the very few people ever that you see on the planet that has what would you call that? It's like you have a amnesia, but you don't know where you're from.
Yeah.
So you don't have any ground. You don't have any knowledge of like for example, a white person can say, well, yeah, I'm white and I live in America, but my roots are in
Scotland.
Scotland, right? I'm Irish.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yep.
So with blacks, you couldn't do that.
Yep.
Some could, but not, if you look at the collective.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So there's a very amnesia that hangs over black people. And when you put slavery in place, then you get a lot of trauma.
Yeah.
Like you got trauma. So it's almost like a child who doesn't have a parent.
Yeah.
It's like Will Smith, why don't you love me?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Because no matter how you spin it, the psychology of it is that they're your parents.
Yeah.
Because you don't know who you are.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, if you know who you are, like if you get kidnapped, you know where you come from. You say, nah, sucker. I come from Georgia.
Yeah.
Just because you kidnapped me and brought me to Cuba, that don't mean I don't know where I'm from. But if you take you as an infant, then hey, it's a little different. And so you get amnesia and you get trauma. And so even when you get successful as a black person, you always have a need to ask.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, and that's what bothers me. It's like, is my album great? Mm-hmm. Do y'all think is it worthy of an award? Should it get a Grammy? And and I look at black people and I'm like, when are you gonna grow up to be like, no matter what you show your parent, they're not gonna be appreciative of it. So you give up one day and you say, well, you don't matter. Because since I like it, it's all that will matter. You see what I'm saying? Like you reinforce your own self-worth, and then you take them completely out the equation, because you really don't matter. If you black and you spend the most money in the world, then you're already king. You see what I'm saying? Because you're controlling the economic. The problem we got for the most part is you just don't know that. Like you don't know
that you control so much. You don't know that even the most ignorant part of yourself is what they copy. You see what I'm saying? Like you can take a brother from the hood that just like ignorant, pants hanging, the way we want to call it, and they love it. So the most ignorant part of yourself is uplifted too.
Yeah.
You know, and that's greatness. It may seem bad, and it is, that they uplift the lesser part of yourself, but that's how powerful you are when somebody can take the lesser part of you and even appreciate that on that level. And then say, hey, even your ignorance is great. Even Snoop saying for shizzle gets put in the dictionary. The problem we got as Black people is, you know, when do you understand that having a cookout is just cool because it's what Black people like to do?
Exactly.
And it doesn't matter if white people like it or not.
Exactly. It ain't got jack to do with them at all. It's
right.
That we so I wanted to point out this sign right here that I just pulled up on Twitter to show you, like, you know, like you see game workers are also trying to do this. And I'm like, oh my goodness. This stuff is, these people have money coming from these corporations going into so many different things that they're exposing themselves. Yeah. Dave Chappelle prophesied this almost, you know, when he was up there. He said that you know, you can a Black person can die in the streets, but you better not hurt a gay person's feelings. And literally, this is pretty much what we're seeing right now. Black people have died since Dave Chappelle's done this. There's been, like I said, there's been a coup in Afghanistan that folk refuse to talk about. We got all these things going on, but because somebody's feelings is hurt, they out here marching in the streets and protesting Netflix to take Dave Chappelle stuff out after he got paid. So are they going to be so bold to tell Netflix to take their money back too?
No. I mean, you know, I just like, you know, we all do that. Like, you know, like I used to mess with, I used to work with this guy and I was working with my dad when I was younger. He was Jehovah's Witness, you know, and I used to always make the joke because our job would come give us $100 gift card during Christmas. So I would be like,
you don't need
give
one.
it to me.
Yeah,
right.
Like,
what you getting it for? Like, you don't need it. Right.
Yeah. Like, give me your money.
Oh, well, I'm keeping that. I like,
hold on. I believe.
He's I
ain't a believer.
He said, I'm religious, but I ain't that religious, apparently. I'm going to keep this money.
I believe now, bro.
Yeah.
I'm asking forgiveness on this one.
It keeps your attention, though.
I want y'all to hear a piece of this right here, because you know a Black person, the one who started this against Dave Chappelle, right?
Yeah, they fired her too.
Equity, that we don't send people in blindly to fight for themselves, that we actually show up and that we stay on their heads, that we actually keep them accountable, that we do our
accountability, right? So let me show you something else real quick, right? I'm gonna show you what accountability look like. You see this right here? This is Ashley Marie Preston. Look at what she was doing just a few years ago. How she was talking about Asians that will get that she was like, they can get busted and beat up, and I'll beat them up in a subway and all this stuff. This is the same person that's going after the death of Dave Chappelle. Latino and Asian business need to stop being rude and effing disrespectful. And I know it's a lot on to ask in California, but speak effing English. This is the person that they're actually using as the figurehead for this thing against Dave Chappelle, a Black woman that has been turned against her own man. Broham came in with all humility in his jokes and just said, look, we need to figure out how to talk to each other. This heifer don't even want to do that. She talking about this Asian Negro in Subway. Are you reading this stuff with me? Like, do you see the screen? Like, is any of this stuff anything that you would want to see out of any female around you? This is racism. There's no other way to cut this up.
Yeah.
That's racism, yo. Like, and then Black folk can't be racist. Get that foolishness out of my face. Yes, we can.
Oh, we can be.
Because I don't watch ample videos of Black folk just punching Asians in the face for no goddamn reason. And I'm not saying it's always us, but I done seen plenty of video of us doing that. That's a racist act. It's an act of hate. So yeah, like you see this, these are the people. The same lady calling for accountability just a few moments ago in this video is the same woman who was doing the same stuff, calling for almost the death of people who are trying to do business to take care of their families. Same vote. Same vote.
I mean, because the chick. I mean, like she's basically
madness, man.
Right, because it's like, you know what I'm saying, like, man, money, people do anything for money. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, you know, and so there's always gonna be somebody that's gonna come sell out, you know, in that way. It's just like it's almost like how like most women don't realize the woman that does the worst damage to most women is the woman. It's not the man.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And if you go same thing with blacks, the person who does the most damage to most blacks is the black person.
Yeah.
You know, and same thing with gamers, you know. So you kind of get that, you know, I see you get that trend, that little similarity, it always pops up. Because like you in a system where, you know, anything you say or contest to, it's already pre-calculated. It's like the Matrix, the architect.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? Like he already knew, you know, they already know, hey, this is how you're gonna respond. This dude dies, you're gonna want justice, you know. So you're gonna start protesting, marching. So then we'll put in our own figureheads. So you know, you see somebody step up to the podium and say, "Hey, I got it. Let me speak." And a lot of times you don't realize, like I said, it becomes an IGN. That person's a figurehead. So it looks like it's going the right way, and then it goes the complete opposite way. And
you're already in the Matrix.
Right.
Yep.
Just like when you go
like,
vote.
Yeah, you
people don't like to hear that, but I'm just like, when you go vote, like you don't think that's already pre-calculated. Like you think that they don't know. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's like, come on, guys. Like, like I remember my dad's been into politics when he was younger. And so I have heard my dad talk about free healthcare since I was like 6, 7, 8 years old. And so you're telling me the smartest minds in America for the last, 20, 25 years couldn't figure out how to get Americans free healthcare on either side.
Money, man.
Right. So it has nothing to do with can you get it?
Nah,
you know, it has nothing to do with who you voted for.
That was never the question. The question was never like you know, because like free is the word you try to stay away from. But is how in the world can I capitalize on this without it making look like I'm capitalizing on this? You know, so that's pretty much what that's how capitalism works. Like you make money by making it seem like it's a natural thing to give that person money. You know, so speaking of that, there's somebody actually documented a part of this protest with Dave Chappelle, where the person that came out with the jokes are funny sign said counter protesters were also out in full force bearing signs with messages like jokes are funny and Netflix don't cancel free speech. At times, the situation threatened to devolve as counter protesters pushed up against trans speakers. One man's jokes are funny sign was ripped out of his hand by a pro-trans protester and split in half, leaving him with a stick and little else. Crowd members said he was wielding a weapon and asked for his removal. Do you see how they spin narratives?
You know, and the crazy thing is, you know, what a lot of people don't realize is that Netflix, stock-wise, is probably having its best month ever.
Let me see. Yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely.
They're having their best month ever. Okay, so look at it. So you got Squid Games, right? Let's see, okay, a little bit down.
No. I'm going to month view. Month view is all. You never look at the day.
Yeah.
So month view, absolutely.
Ooh,
okay. right around the 5th, which is when all this stuff really hit the fan.
Look at
their stock went up by $30 almost. Goodness gracious.
Yeah, Squid Games, and you got this, and people are like, "Oh, this controversy is hurting Netflix."
No, controversy creates cash, buddy.
Even if they take it, so I'll put it like this: so even if their controversy causes the stock to drop by 5% in the span of a week, maybe 2 weeks, it's going to rebound 3 times over. Like it's going to.
You know what? Even if this is mitigated risk. So once again, Netflix can lose $5 to $10 on their stock price because they already gained 30. So they still have a surplus 25. So they can lose. So let's say they actually say, you know what? Yeah, we're going to go ahead and cancel it. Right. Well, right now they're at $625.14. They were at $603 at the beginning of this month. They have a $20 cushion, a little bit over $20 cushion. Yeah. So if they lose 5 of this, they're still in the green.
These people
are not looking at the long game. These suckers are like, I'm playing a game with your very life. Dave Chappelle,
they took soap operas and they gave you, you say, you know what, they gave you reality. They understood that, hey, that's the whole concept of the phone. Like if you like media advances. So it's like when my mom and them was younger, they would sit home and watch like Young and the Restless, and things like that.
Look at this.
So you ask yourself, nothing beats a movie or a show where it's real. How real can we get it? You see what I'm saying? So it's like I can go outside and stage something, and then like how like they are like Netflix coming in had to watch Dave Chappelle show, right? So they had to see it way before they put it out. So they already knew this. Oh, this is gonna be fucking fantastic.
Look at this.
I'm saying because this is gonna get everybody in an uproar, and so guess what? You got people watching Dave Chappelle stand up that don't even like Dave Chappelle. They just watching to see what he said.
Exactly. So they hate watching, but it's still making them money. Look at this.
Right.
So from conception in like 02, 03, all the way to now. Now look at this 1 year. Even a 1 year, they started out the year at $489 per stock price, and they're at $625 per stock price. People ain't paying attention.
Let's check this out.
Ain't paying attention, bro.
You remember when I posted Kanye, and I was like, "This is trash," and I did Drake with trash. Here's something to leave you with. My homeboy hit me up the next day, right? And he said, "I seen what you had posted," right? He said, "But peep game." He said because music ain't about quality no more. It's not about quality, Bobby. He said the moment Kanye got everybody to log on and stream.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? That everybody watched. So it's like Dave Chappelle, same thing, because it don't matter. It don't matter how evil or whatever it might look at it. It's like for the church, right? You can have a show in there saying the people worshiping the devil, and then then you angle that shit and market it to the Christians. So that way the Christians go in the uproar. And then they'll start protesting and stuff. And then say, well, hey, what are we protesting? So you got to watch it. You see what I'm saying? Because you got to know what's wrong with it, obviously. You know what I'm saying? And then that's money. Like the stream is the money. And I felt bad because when I listened to him, I said, that's the death of music. Yeah. It's just over. Yeah. Because nobody's trying to make a Lauryn Hill record anymore. Nobody's trying to make, a King Disease too, because who cares? All I need to do is make up some, like Lil Nas, like how they were saying how he come out like he wasn't even really gay, but who cares? Yeah, I'm gay. Yeah, I like the devil. Who cares? Because it creates so much of a frantic. Yeah, people will log on and say, "I wonder what he's gonna say. I wonder what he's gonna do."
Yeah, like and as interesting as that is, as far as like watching people really use like clickbait for the most part as their professional career, you look at the process of how all these things are started, like especially with Drake and Kanye. They got this false beef going on between the two of them, right? Yeah. So that immediately created that level of anticipation to see if one person was going to have a diss track on the other. But Jay-Z summed it up best. Lyrically, I want to rhyme like common sense. That I made $5 million and I ain't been rhyming like common sense. That line, literally, there was so much information he put in that one line that I think that a lot of people just skipped over it. I'm like, that dude just told you the whole record in the industry. He's like, lyrically, he could literally rhyme like common sense. Literally. The dude is a master lyricist. But
that's what 444. I always tell people, like, people didn't realize Jay-Z made 444, right? Right. He literally went and got No ID to produce the whole album. Yeah. It's common sense. No ID produced all common sense albums. Yep. You see what I'm saying? Like that's what I'm saying. Like people don't pay attention to what's going on in front of them in that way. So you get, it's just like you get played like the Hunger Games. When you watch the Hunger Games, the cool thing about it was how like the news was being like filmed as they was there. Like he was something that was just as fake as a situation. Like, hey, this would make a great clip. You know, hey, we're such and such here live, and we're here with Team 7. And he's like, wow, it's not even real. You know, then you go to the Matrix, it's the same thing. They point out in the Matrix, like, hey, you know, none of this is real, really. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you know, the stimulation is real. You know what I'm saying? So you feel a certain way, you feel angry, right? Yeah, go act on it. But that's just us playing like a puppet. Like, but it's not real, you know. So like when you step back and you look at everything, you just kind of see the same thing going over because it all goes in cycles. It goes in loops. You know what I'm saying? Like it just keeps happening just in different ways.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know, it's funny.
You know, it's a cycle. It's a vicious cycle, and folks, you know, for some odd and strange reason, refuse to see that even as they placate them by giving them trinkets and again to the people that they love or the people that they enjoy watching, they still ain't paying attention. Like I said, Afghanistan just had a coup. People were attached and were trying to grab onto the plane in flight and died. Died trying to get in, and people are not even thinking about that right now because Dave Chappelle said a few jokes that literally had zero weight almost. You know, like it was more inquiry joke. This is probably the weakest Dave Chappelle special he did. Yeah. And I say that with no, like, not even that shade. I'm just being real. Joke wise and stuff. This is the weakest Dave Chappelle special he's done. Was a closer, because I really do believe that the closer was him actually creating dialogue versus him really doing a lot of jokes. So it was more natural, you know. So it's like a natural conversation versus him trying to go for punchlines. And I'm like, you got all this uproar on you about that, but we ain't heard no uproar on you about cuties though. We ain't getting that, but.
And I go to show you, man. They go to show you where they.
That's what I'm saying, because that's not the trend.
Yeah, it's not the trend.
You see what I'm saying? So don't worry about that. You know, that's whatever.
Yeah, bury that quickly. Bury that quickly. You know what I'm saying? Bury that as fast as you quite possibly can. But Dave Chappelle, though, we can get this black man some hell. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. Like, as much as they try, and I hate the term person of color, because I'm like, I'm black. I'm ethnically black. I'm not a quote unquote person of color. Don't lump me in with everybody else. I'm a black man. If you're gonna just call me black, I'm not offended by that. But when I hear people like using these buzz terms and stuff like that about other people and other races and stuff like that, I'm automatically in caution, because I know that they're doing this for survival. And a man or a woman would do anything to survive. Thanks Squid Games for that doggone lesson. Oh, yeah. I hope they were paying attention, because Squid Game was showing you that a person can do anything to survive and to make it out of their own mess, because every single person in Squid Games had their own goddamn mess that they put themselves in. And
analogy that is what you call it. Like most people say, you know, people like crabs in a bucket. Yeah. Say, but nobody reflects on it in the way of saying, well, by nature, there's nothing wrong with crabs. Yeah. But it's the person barrel. Right in the water, right? Who put them in there and who turned the water?
Yeah, who put the heat on? Who made the barrel? Yeah, who put them in the barrel? The crabs are not at fault for trying to survive. The person who put them in a barrel is at fault because they made the barrel.
You know, it's like some Machiavelli joint, man. You know, Machiavelli. You know, I was reading that joint, and he like
the Prince.
Yeah, the Prince. Yeah. Like he like, bro, like dog, like, you know, you worry about how we got here. I'm worried about the outcome. You know what I'm saying? And like, I'm worried about the outcome.
And that's the thing. Like Machiavelli was training a king.
Yeah.
And a lot of people run around talking about the king, and they ran by their emotions. I'm like, no king in existence has ever lasted that ran off their emotions. No queen that ran off their emotions alone never kept their kingdom. You need to understand what's going on around you and think well beyond where you at. And unfortunately, especially like watching all this stuff with Dave Chappelle and how much of an uproar that caused, I say, y'all folks stupid. If Afghanistan got keys to stuff that y'all don't even understand they got keys to, and I'm not just trying to poke at them, I'm just being real about the situation right now. That is a major event, world event now.
Like, if you're gonna go outside and do something, then why not go out and protest getting rid of college debt? You know, if you're gonna go out here. Bro, and have a voice.
Cancel culture was made by student loan debt. So,
well, what my point is like you out here, like in America, everybody's sexualized, so that they don't realize all of them are nipped anyway. So you know, everybody for the most part perverted sexual addicts.
Yeah.
So like that's why I was saying, like that's why like when we were talking earlier, you know, like sex has to be in everything. Like you can't just go watch Thor and him fight up some gods.
No.
You gotta watch Thor his other hammer. You know, this is you know what I'm saying? You got an American, you know, it ain't about Cap Shield, it's about American's ass. You know, this is American ass right here. Yeah. So you always gotta have this subtle perversion in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, hey, you know, and so you get that type of, you know, energy. So you just like, so why wouldn't you worried about, you know, don't get me wrong. Like, you know, I understand like if people out here killing trans and beating them up because, you know, they don't like them being that way.
It's wrong.
That's wrong. Right.
It's doggone wrong.
If you out here, but if you out here protesting David Chappelle stand up, which is just comedy. Like if you go to a stand up comedy show, right? Do you sit in the front row?
You getting roasted. Right.
Yeah. So it's a normal thing to get roasted no matter what you are. You can be a normal guy. You can be too normal. You like he might be clowning this one guy and he might turn to you and say, "Oh, look at this little normal looking mofo." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you think I'm gonna skip over you because you so normal?
Yeah.
Like, he'll make a joke of you being normal.
They'll say he's gonna hide behind that plaid shirt.
Yeah. I mean, so that's the thing though, man. Like I think that it's very important for people to understand that you know, freedom of speech is paramount, right? Even a person that don't make sense needs to speak freely so we know what that person is thinking.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So
we need to be smart enough.
We need to be
to digest that information.
We had because I told look, we grew up in South Carolina. No. You can't tell me you ain't ran across a couple of racist folk that's and said some sideways stuff to you. But I'm actually glad they did because I didn't. It was wrong. I'm not gonna say it went wrong, but at least I know now what you think. You know, versus if you didn't have freedom of speech to speak, even your foolish and ignorance, I wouldn't know. So I would live in this blissful bubble of my feelings being protected, but not knowing that the person beside me is plotting my destruction.
Yeah, the wolf and sheep.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying it doesn't make. They'll say people are calling for this. I'm like the more rights you give away in this particular situation, especially when it comes to your speech, the more rights that they take away, the less you understand. Because what they'll do is then they'll use media, which they're already doing now, to speak for you. And they'll use media to speak for them. Then nobody's speaking. Then we're in 1984 in Orville. Yep. That's pretty much what we're looking at. It's like you if you don't understand that you being able to freely express yourself, whether it is ignorant or not, is this the best course of action, then something's wrong with you. Because you have to be able to speak even with at risk. If a person like wants to straight up and blur out and call a black person any type of name they want, or a trans person anything they want, they're free to do that. But the consequences after that though is different. So Dave Chappelle making a joke, you know, right now, people are, this is not cancel culture, this is consequences culture. I'm like, yeah, but you now going to the point now where you're saying we need to silence him, period, for one thing that you misunderstood. Misunderstanding does not negate the fact that you need to understand something. You did not understand it. Get understanding first, then let's have a conversation. But it's one of those things. I'm like, you can't sit here and say we need to shut this person up forever because we disagree with them. No, let them talk so you know where they stand.
It's a sly way. See, Americans funny. Americans different. Because, you know, most Americans have guns and things of such nature. So you can't really deal with Americans physically.
No.
You know what I'm saying? So you have to deal with them very, you know, emotionally and mentally, you see? So that's why you hear me say that's why I have a big problem with Game Pass. Because think about it. And there was the problem I had with, you know, it wasn't even about being a GameStop, the whole trading of games and stuff. And what else in business that you can think of that doesn't have a used market to it? And whereas in your constitutional right, your ownership is denied by you having it. So if you go buy a car, you can sell it. There's a used market for it. You know, if you go buy a book, you say, hey, you can trade it, you can borrow it, you can sell it. Only in games. Even in the CD market, when the music was out, you could sell your CDs and nobody cared. Only in games where it became a stigma for being wrong. Like it was a problem for you to own your game and then you do with your game what you wanted to. And people didn't realize it. Well, that's your constitutional right that you waive it. So now they have spent billions of dollars to not even worry about owning any of it. They said, well, you shouldn't even worry about owning, have ownership. This rent and lease and stream. Because somebody asked me about the Nintendo thing. And I said, well, I didn't have a problem with them going up on the service. I said, my issue was that, for let's say for 10 years, I paid $50 to play these older games that I done spent, every year. That's every 2 years, $100. So that's $500. My issue here is I don't own none of them. That I done spent, 5 years or 10 years, and I done spent $500, but I don't have anything to show for it.
Yeah, none of it.
Right. Entitled in 10, 15 years, you still don't own any music.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? That you invested $2,000-$3,000 in something.
You're renting. Yeah, like you said, you're renting, and on top of that, like in the situation like we had with Dave Chappelle, let's say if a person only watches Dave Chappelle on Netflix, that's their only source for finding Netflix, for finding Dave Chappelle. If Netflix buckles and they cancel Dave Chappelle and they take them off of Netflix, that person that was enjoying that show no longer has access to that show.
Yeah.
Now, so you've been paying $10 a month, $14 a month for nothing. Because you don't own any of these movies, you're owning written and experience, and that's something that I'm utterly against. I would rather find and buy the movie in DVD form if I have to own it. If I have to, if it's one that I really enjoy, if I can find in Blu-ray, wonderful. If I can't, I'll buy it in DVD. But ownership is important,
right? Because you don't have to take the right if I convince you not to use it.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? Like with the freedom of speech, like well, of course you're not going to take it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I can train you not to use it.
Yeah.
So like cancel culture is more about that. It's like, well, you better not say nothing or this will happen to you.
Yeah.
So, but you got freedom of speech, but be careful.
Yeah. Like you ain't really free to speak, because if you speak a certain word this particular way, then we'll make sure you're never able to talk again. I'm like, that's not freedom of speech. That's not freedom of speech. That to me sounds like tyranny. Because rather than allowing this person to speak, which is the most powerful thing they have in their arsenal, you think it's their fist. It's not really their fist, it's their voice. So the most powerful thing that a person has their voice, and you just saying because you offended and because a couple other people are offended that you need to silence this person forever. Well, guess what? If we put this in the court of a public opinion, you might be right. But in the course of time, as time goes by, and we begin to see these things pop up, and they've done it now in secret because your silly self and said they can't say nothing out in public, then now we got this situation set up where now we have 75 laws, but we ain't figuring nothing out. Why in the world you think after we done made all these doggone quote unquote laws for all this other stuff, that stuff's still going on? It's like the heart hasn't changed. Laws do not change hearts. You need to allow open discourse, and folk need to be emotionally intelligent enough to have a discourse with a person that disagrees with them, and to be able to have a cordial one, even when they disagree and point out certain things that are wrong. That's how you grow as a person. I would hope that college would have taught you that.
Well, that goes back to desocializing the people, though. That's what I was saying earlier, where the kids don't socialize in that way. So when they get older or they come in like the stores and stuff where I'm at, like they don't know how to have a community. They don't even know how to communicate with each other.
Yeah, they don't know how to speak. Yeah, they only know how to express. They only know how to express the most extreme areas of the spectrum. They only know how to express extreme anger or like extreme sadness or happiness. And there's no medium between.
And rage and sadness is so doggone infectious, unfortunately. So it does. It's the path of least resistance. It shows that you're weak.
Yep.
It's funny because a lot of people uniting their weaknesses are still freaking weak.
You see, and I'm starting to notice it in people that are getting older too. Like they or like our age, they only know how to express like extreme rage. Like, okay, I'm talking to a dude today. Well, I can't really say a dude is a transgender woman. But she was trying to get something for her vehicle, and I was breaking it down to her. I was like, ma'am, there's a chip shortage. What you want just ain't here, and it won't be here for about another week or so.
Yeah.
And she flew into a fit of rage. Like, just just got like upset. And then there was another person I was talking to the other day too about something that he wanted specifically. And he just got like so like despondent. Like, I like, bro, like, get it the fucking together, man. Like, get it together. Like, why are you expressing this extreme emotion for this one particular item? And I can never understand it.
That's what I was saying earlier. It's their children. You see what I'm saying? Like,
emotionally, their children.
Emotionally, children. Right.
Yeah.
It's a tantrum. You see what you're seeing is a tantrum, you know, and the inability to understand, like, oh, it's COVID, chip shortage, all this other stuff. So, see, what's the word called? Cognitive thinking. Like, you problem solving. You figuring out, like, well, it's not their fault. You know, it's probably going to be hard to get system this year.
And then you got to also put in the fact that there's going to be shortages in a lot of areas. You know, like, it's not just in that, it's food too. They're like pretty much stranded in the ocean right now. You know what I'm saying? So it's like empathy is the thing that I think that Cats is just missing. And
think about this, like, you know, when you hear people talk about minimum wage, right? And they say, well, and it's always seems so stupid to me. Like, somebody tell you, well, you shouldn't make $20 an hour. You know, I'm just making up a number. No, you shouldn't make $15, $20 an hour flipping hamburgers or being in a restaurant. Mm-hmm. So you think about the most important facet of a human life is eating, but you value it the less. You see what I'm saying? Like, that you die when you don't eat.
Yeah.
So imagine what happens if everybody you say that is not worth $15. Like, imagine nobody showed up tomorrow at the grocery store. Mm-hmm. Imagine if everybody at the restaurants decide not to cook anymore. You know, what happens when the teachers who are underpaid decide not to go to school anymore and teach? So it's like we have this mindset to where we'll suppress ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, like in certain aspects, like, you know, like the whole concept of why people hate minimum wage being raised, or just the conversation, it comes from a lot of college kids.
Yep.
You know, I'm a college kid. Like, it comes from that you done bust your ass and went to school 4-6 years and you got dead. And you don't want that guy that just got out of high school
and making the same money as you.
Right.
Yeah.
It's an ego thing. It's not has nothing to do with if it makes sense or not. And more about, you know, I'm just saying it's more about that. You know, and people, we haven't had to confront in America, we haven't had to confront any truths because ain't no politician going to make you confront them.
Exactly.
They're just going to let you just, whatever. Like, you know, we're crazy.
They know they can't survive a confrontation because they've lost their touch in defense. Like, you know, being able to defend their position without it actually going to the point of insults. We saw 2 presidential candidates not even able to do that. We watched Joe Biden and Trump get up there and insult each other like children. And I was like, and these are your kings? And this you know what I'm saying? Like these are your kings. Like, they two grown men that can't even have a civil discourse, you know, are gonna run the United States of America. And you're telling me that this is the peak of American discourse is this right here. I said that was already. I was like, I just laughed. I said, you know what, just give me popcorn.
And that's what I got a problem with, man. You know, if you go back to any society, any great society that's still here or that has gone, you know, there's a point in time where you only present your best, right? You only, you know, a lot of like ancient Greek tried to do this too. They have some fucked up shit, you know, I didn't work. But, you know, like if you listen to like the scholars,
we didn't mimic,
you know,
we didn't mimic.
No, that's real fucked up shit. So, you know, that's not the whole thing. But there's a certain point where you present your best. You present your best at all facets. There's a certain point where you convince the populace that you must be well educated. You must be at your best. Physical, mental, you know, you must be at a peak level of performance, you know, for this perfect union that we
how dare you, Matthew? How dare you, Matthew Higgins?
Yeah,
how dare you come in here and tell me that if I had to send somebody out to fight for the planet, that I send out the best person to fight for? But how dare you? How dare you tell me that I didn't consider a person's feelings that thought that they was the best? How
we
dare
sit
you?
out the, we sit out the
Well, I mean,
CT,
just
man.
like
We don't sit
if
out the
you brought
BT.
the president thing. I mean, Trump and Biden was no different than Dave Chappelle and the transgenders. That's
It's
what I'm
true.
saying. Like
It's
America
true.
is gladiators.
Yeah.
Are you not entertained?
Yeah.
Like, are
pretty
you
much.
like when I saw it, I said,
Sleight of hands. Sleight of
Yeah.
hands. Something's going on right now, and people ain't paying attention. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
because-
So yeah, it's a yeah.
Well, we keep you entertained, like like because America. In America, right? It's terrible here, man. Like people don't realize, like we're a country who just now figuring out collectively that Columbus didn't discover America. Now let that sink in, like, because you got to really think about you can discover something that people are already on it, and then when you ask them what they are, they told you we're native to the America.
Or what is mine now?
Yeah, but then I discovered it. So, and we ran with that for hundreds of years. Like, so you got to think about, like, Americans. Not saying I'm not calling people dumb. It's not about being dumb. It's about how you think. You know what I'm saying? Like, your critical thinking skills coming in just to say something like that. Like, well, how like, well, I don't know, Mr. Miller. Hey, what you got a question? How do you discover something if the Indians was already on it? That train of thought.
Well, folks never really sat down and really dealt with who Christopher Columbus was. Christopher Columbus was so stupid that he got to America and called the people Indians because he thought he was in India.
Yeah,
that's the reason why they were called Indians for so long, is because Christopher Columbus like didn't know where he was, so he just called them Indians.
But see, America's always been slow to certain things, though, man. We always been, and I hate to say it like that. Yeah.
But here's the thing, though. Now I'm I gotta keep it 100% real. I'm proud to be an American. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else on the planet. And at the same time, you also, because I love being American, you have to hold your people accountable. You don't love a person if you don't tell them where they're wrong.
You got to be the harshest critic, bro.
Yeah,
you have to be the harshest critic.
Like you have to make sure that when you leave, that there's at least something that can be taken with you that can be of value for somebody else. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's one of them things that, like, when I'm not going to how can I put this? I'm not going to deride America in that particular sense, because the idea of America is something that has really saved like lots of people.
Mm-hmm.
So like because you still think about it, man. If you go to Afghanistan right now, where would you want to be, Afghanistan or America?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I'm just keeping the rest. So that's one of the I had to get that out of me, as far as like I don't hate America because I'm an American. And I've left the country. When you leave the country, black or not, you're American. When I was in Africa, I wasn't a person of African descent or black. I was an American. You know what I'm saying? That was they can't.
It's just training. Like I said, like I agree with you.
Yeah.
But you look at it, it's like, when you look at it, right, and you say how you can be, like economically, I always say, I said, well, the biggest problem Americans got is they've been sold superstar lifestyle.
Yeah.
Like, because,
freaking lie.
Right. You think about it, like when I grew up listening to hip hop, Lil' Kim said Puff Daddy rides the Hummer for the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Catch me in a Nissan 350Z.
Mm-hmm.
Man, anybody can buy that. You see what I'm saying? But at the time, this was dope. This is you living. Like, this is extreme living. So now you fast forward, you got normal people believing they should be able to buy Aston Martins and Bugattis. You see, where you can, but what do you sacrifice when you buy it? You see what I'm saying? Like, you can go get $100,000 car. I'm not telling you should have the option and choice. Yeah. You always have choice.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But that money you spend could be, it's always like I told my homeboy. I said, you go out, I said, what do you buy? You buy a $500,000 house, $400,000 house, right? I said, do you buy it? If you got money, right? $1 million, what do you buy? And he's like, I'll probably get me $1,400,000. I said, but you never thought about if you had enough money to buy a $500,000 house. I said, wouldn't it make sense to buy a $300,000 house and invest $100,000 and then maybe open a business with $100,000?
Yeah. See,
You see what I'm saying? So
that's the American thing. It's the instant gratification. That's why the debt is ballooning to such a way. Like, okay, so you said, like, why would you spend all your money on one thing? Or you could get something just as good, just as valuable, probably more than what a lot of other people have, and still have this other money to do other things with, or like, maybe expand upon your money. But it's like I said, dude, it's us, man. It's literally how we've been programmed. We've been programmed to get the best possible car we can get. We've been programmed to get the best possible house that we can get. And then, 2 years, 3 years later, when we start making more money, we've been programmed to sell that house and buy another house that's almost 3 times the price as that one, and so forth and so on, man. So it's like it's a gluttonous cycle that never stops. It just never stops. It never like abates even for like a moment, man.
Then you realize, like, and then you peep this. So you take, as a black person, so you think you're chasing. So you say, well, how did this work? But then you figure out, you say, well, because you didn't leave your kids anything. Like, so your kids automatically start over. Mm-hmm. So, like, you know what I'm saying? So, like, if you don't leave your children anything, then they start back over from the beginning of the race. And then they're competing with somebody else that mom may have left, the dad had good insurance, mom had good insurance. So the insurance pays out, right? And then they may have saved money, invested money. So now it pays out. So, like, they may be a person that works a normal job, went to school like you, went to school 4 years, 2 years, have this work exactly where you work. But you say, man, I don't understand how this person just seems to get ahead so fast because of dad. They have generational wealth.
They got generational wealth. And you don't. The dopest thing I heard, like, somebody say in a financial position, which I was like, dang, yo, that's real good advice, but it's so mundane that I know a lot of black people will say no to it. He said the most powerful thing that black people can do is to get together, have children, and raise them without trauma.
Yeah.
He said if we did that for 3 generations, there wouldn't be any more issues. He said like we decrease the amount of trauma that we give to them inside of the home. And we do that for 3 generations. He said, you will have a far more lucrative and stronger generation than we've ever seen. But the problem is that lots of black folk, A, don't want to have kids no more. B, the ones that are having kids are having them because they just like enjoying what they're doing. And then the other folk, like, unfortunately, is doing it because they're trying to blackmail somebody else to get something else out of them. Now, and that's still a percentile of these pregnancies. It's like females just want to have a baby, so they want to have a baby, and they want to use that to get some stuff out of another person. That is definitely a percentile. So rather than it actually being a man and a woman coming together as a unit, saying, "Look, I'm going to take care of you for the rest of your life. Don't even doubt that." Okay, I'm going to do, like, you're my woman, I'm your man. That's it. We are in this together. We're in this until death do us part. We're in this, and we're going to raise beautiful children. And we're going to raise them with as less trauma as we quite possibly can, pour into them and build them into a great generation. And we got that with a couple thousand, 100,000 families, black families. You would see some amazing things happen in like 2 generations. Problem is, folks too selfish. So they want the stuff of their generation right now, but they can't realize that we are still processing decades of trauma.
Crazy. Another thing about it too, when it comes to like financial wealth, I can honestly say the generation before us had no idea how to save money, make money, and do anything with it. Well, I won't say the whole generation, but a lot of people did.
Yeah.
My father didn't know anything about.
Well, they couldn't. You know what I'm saying? They couldn't though. That's what I'm saying, that they couldn't. Yeah. Like, it's not even and it's not even a ride the oppression situation. But I'm just being real. In most cases, you couldn't. Like you made as much as you could eat, and then the next day you made more so you could eat again. There wasn't really a dividend situation except for the people that actually enabled the system to work.
Yeah, exactly.
So in that situation, yes, there is some anomalies in this thing that is absolutely wrong. That like let's say like a Bill Gates, right? That people are like, oh, he's an entrepreneur. He did all that by himself. No, he didn't. That dude got gifted $250,000, $300,000 to go out and do his business. Jeff Bezos, same situation. Couple $100,000 to go ahead and get started from his family. Oh, you want to get a little bit closer to home? Barack Obama was there $500,000 by his grandma to start his campaign. These folk did not come from the ground. They are not like you, and nor do they understand you. You come from the gutter. You don't have a head start. You have to make the head start.
Yep.
These folk are getting like you're saying, Bobby. Like these folk got these in these situations because they got family that set them up. The family thought about them well ahead of time, so that when they want to pursue their dreams, they could do it. The dude who made GoPro, right? Dude who made GoPro was a drunk. He pretty much just kicked it at college and just did whatever he wanted to. Then went on a vacation paid by his family once he graduated. Guess what happened? He went on vacation and was surfing, doing some mundane stuff, and said, it'd be real cool if I could put a camera on his surfboard and it didn't die. Came back home, told his family about this idea. This dude hadn't really accomplished anything in his life this whole time. Came back to his rich family, told him this. They gave that dude $250,000 to start his business, and now he's a billionaire. Now,
what I'm saying, like that's
just like that.
What's the difference? You got vision, you got drive, right? But you ain't got the money. So then you have to grind to get the money in order for your vision to work, rather than having the freedom to just say, I want to make this, and then money's already there. These billion, like Mark Zuckerberg also inherited a couple $100,000 to get his stuff off the ground. There isn't a person that is not in a place of power right now that has not gotten where they are because of generational wealth.
Yeah.
The only folk, and I say this, I shut up. The only people that like literally come out in a situation where they didn't have anything but is entertainers. Entertainer, that's the reason why it's the most coveted position in America, is because entertainers is the get rich quick scheme of this generation. If you can if you can get on a label, do a track that blows up, you make a few million, you could go ahead and sit on and rest on your laurels and kick it and get out the game. If you are a sports entertainer and you can find a way to entertain people in this particular way, you don't need a college education. You don't need no family background. You don't need any of that. You just need skill, and this is what you need, and you can become a millionaire. But if you don't have that, which is like literally less than 1% of the population that actually gets this particular opportunity, right? 10% is NFL for colleges. I mean, for high schools, they scout is in the 10 percentile, like of all high schools and colleges that actually get that call up. Everybody's not getting the call up, but because it's a reality, it can happen. It gives people false perception, and they like, I can do that too. But you may not have the skill, and if you don't have the skill, you don't get the money. So what will you do then?
Yeah, and then you're setting to, as black men, see kind of like what Matt was saying, like you don't have anybody to kind of come in and kind of coach you along early on either. So, as a man, you got to be very careful because you accrue debt, like burden, what I'm saying? The more burden you accrue earlier, it's harder to get back to ground zero just to get ahead. Like, so you may never get back, because like I remember I was telling Toy one time, I said, well, mostly, black people have to make a hard decision. And that's why I was using the house thing for an example, because what's best for you financially may be $100,000 or $150,000 house.
Yeah.
And it might make more sense to take that $50,000 and invest in yourself if you have an idea. Like, if you really think you're good at cooking and you can go get you a food truck, right, or you can get you a restaurant, or, if you just got a business idea like a GoPro or something,
yeah,
and you think about it, because your money can build itself. Like if you smart enough with stocks and crypto and stuff, like your money is a job.
Yep.
Like you don't even have to work if you know how to flip your money hard enough in that stuff. Like a job is just a flip of money. Like, cause I was like, you go do a food truck, like the average price of a food, like a plate is like, let's say $10. So, you sell, you say my goal today is 10 plates. So 10 plates, you got 8 hours to sell 10 plates. That's a plate. That's almost a plate and a half an hour.
Mm-hmm.
A plate and a quarter of a plate, and you make $100. And if you don't mind working 7 days a week, you make $700.
Yeah.
And in 2 weeks, you make $1,400. And if your food is good, it's very unlikely you only sell one plate an hour.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So it's really not that most people are broke. It's like you're getting so much debt,
yeah,
that you can't come out of it, or you can't reinvest in yourself. And unless you live somewhere, unless you live somewhere like Atlanta or Charlotte, like Charlotte's a good place to live because of the fact that there's a lot of blacks in power in Charlotte. Like when you go to Charlotte, you can go in a lot of banks and you see people that look like you. So it's not about them giving you a handout. It's about them saying, hey, let me come meet me. Let me tell you how to get a house.
Then break it down for you.
Right. It's like being in school. If you go to a black college, a lot of times the teachers say, hey, meet me after class, I'll teach you.
Yeah,
You go to a white school, you don't get that.
Yeah.
It's as simple as it is, and most blacks you see very successful. I'm not saying they're not no successful black people out of Florence and Columbia.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying that if the more of your own people you can be around, the easier your life will get.
Yeah.
Because you'll help each other. Like you might say, well, Trevor's a finance officer, Bobby's an accountant. I say, yeah, man, just come over, cuz we go, we just talk.
And what's unfortunate though at the same time is that like a good portion of our people have been so competitively driven that they refuse to even do that. You know what I'm saying? Like so they're like, I'm not letting this person get in here and try and steal my position, rather than thinking like, hey, let's build together.